Hello, this is Kate, and welcome to the Ordinary Life Song. Hope you're all well. Got a slightly different angle on my camera, because this is the only way I could make the stand work. I don't know, it might work really well. I've seen other people do straight down, so let's give it a go, see what happens. Yeah, so I hope you're well. So today, I thought we would do a pick a card reading. Let's pop that into you. Weird thing is I really can't see what's happening on the camera. It's a bit odd. It's a little bit odd. Anyway, new beginnings and all that jazz. So we're going to use the Light Seer tarot. Love this deck. Might get the book out, might not. We're going to do pick a card, so 3 cards, and I'm not going to use the tarot cards for the pick a card. I am actually going to use these 3 cards. 3 cards I pulled for myself a couple of days ago, and I think they would be perfect for a pick a card. So we have, and these are from The Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reid. So we have group number 1, A Change in the Wind. Number 12, group number 2, Mending. Number 52, and group 3, Imagine. And that card is number 20. Took a while to see the number on that one. So yeah, pick your group, and I will see you in your reading. Obviously, go with what your heart tells you to do. Whether you watch 1, 2, or 3, it's entirely up to you. You know, you have your own brains, and you can literally figure it out for yourselves. I don't need to say it, and I say it really because I've heard it so many times from other tarot readers. So I'm saying it now. But remember, in all readings, take what resonates. Okay, I'll see you in your readings. I'm not gonna cut this. I don't cut anything. So I'm just gonna crack on. So group number 1. Make sure I've got them in the right order. You have chosen A Change in the Wind. Interesting card. Now, the first thing I'm thinking when I see this card, I don't know if you can see it properly. I got the impression, I know it's not, this isn't a cage, but the first thing I thought was a cage where the door had been left open and all the birds or whatever was inside the cage, it could be butterflies, were allowed to be free, and they flew up and they flew away. They found their freedom. A change in the wind, riding a zebra, going a new direction, moving with the wind. The wind changes direction quite often, but not always in the same day. A bit like Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins sprang to mind just then. That bit at the end where the wind changes. You've got to batten down the hatches and all that stuff, and then go fly a kite. And that really was a change in the wind, wasn't it? That really was a change in attitude, a change in everything. Everything changed at that point. The whole direction of everything changed. So it went from living a life according to kind of like the rules, I say that in inverted commas, of life, what was expected of a banker, because he was a banker, right, the dad. And then Mary Poppins comes along and changes everything, much to his disgust. He doesn't like it, but it happens regardless. Everybody else loves it all around him. They have amazing experiences, and he's not. And it's not until the very end when he realizes that there's a massive fuck it moment. And he's like, why are you arguing over 2p? It's 2p. It's 2 pence. It's 2 pennies. It's nothing. It's my children's savings. And yeah. And he thinks this is ridiculous. He realizes it's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. And he goes off. The wind changes and they go fly a kite. And they have a jolly good time whilst they're doing it. So, is this group experiencing some form of fuck it moment? And I'm not going to mind my language. This is the way I talk. Is there? And seriously, I've got hair everywhere. I'm losing my hair. It's just falling out in clumps. I'm not sure if it's because I'm perimenopausal, or because of the heat, or just because my hair's thinking, why the fuck not? Why not? I'll just fall out. Don't need this much hair. Okay, anyway, 3 cards. First card, Queen of Wands. Ooh, big celebration. A big, we're coming out of a fuck it moment. We're coming out of a moment where we're saying, this is ridiculous. What am I doing? And there's a big celebration that you've reached that point. Congratulations. She's got the power in the palm of her hand because she's had this moment of, what am I doing? And then she's taking her power back. It feels like she's taking her power back, right? It feels like she's got, hang on, I gave you all my power. Why did I do that? I want it back now, please. And she has, and she's celebrating, and she's going, I have my power back. It's in the palm of my hand. Lovers, connection, relationship, sharing, connection, relationship, bonding. These are just words that are coming out right now. Collaboration. It's an interesting. Collaboration, bonding, sharing. And the power she gave away was to aid other people. But they took and took and took and took and took. And she took it back. She took it back. But with the stance of sharing it still, but in harmony, in balance with everything. Not giving it all away, but saying to everybody, you have your own power and this is how you find it. Do you have your own power and this is how you find it? This is how you use it. This is how you keep it. This is how you don't give it away. This is how you can share it. This is how you can collaborate with others and work with other people without losing a part of yourself in the process. She's been through it. She's now going to teach that knowledge. She's now going to share that knowledge in relationship with everybody else. Oh my goodness. The High Priestess. True power. This is true, deeper, spiritual. The word reckoning sprung to mind. True, deep, spiritual reckoning. Which is an interesting word to come out. The seer, the sighted, the awareness of self. That's what it just feels like, the awareness of self today. It feels like High Priestess, inner power, inner guidance, inner love, inner sharing, inner teamwork, inner collaboration, inner all of that, inner wealth of knowledge being shared with others in love, in caring, in depth, in understanding and knowledge and experience, and in knowing of self. Change in the wind. Has there been a period where the self is being masked by something, a situation, another person? Could there be a relationship you got lost in? Could be anything, couldn't it? It feels like there's a taking back of power, but it's not a taking back and then walking away. It's a taking back and saying, hang on, I didn't realise I was giving away all my power. And by doing that, I wasn't empowering the people I was giving my power to. I was only enabling them to carry on as they are, whilst they sap me dry. I'm going to take my power back, but in doing that, I'm going to show them their own inner power for themselves, so that they aren't draining other people all the time. They're utilising the internal resources. And she's doing that by sharing, by caring, by loving in relationship with those around her. So she's not being a walk away type person. She's no, we're not doing that anymore. But how about we do this instead? And you'll find that you'll have more power at your fingertips as well. You won't need to rely on somebody else. You have your own internal story to tell. You have your own internal power to use. You have your own abilities. You have your own strength to utilize. Everybody has a high priestess inside them. Okay, is there anything else that needs to come out for group? What? Oh, okay, just another 3 cards. Okay. Oh, 5 of Pentacles in reverse. So this card is, for me, as I'm looking at it, is all about not seeing the opportunity in front of you, not seeing that the door is closed and things look like they are closed off, shut away, but there's a key right there. And if she stopped being so inside herself and insular and sad, and just looked up for a moment and realised that maybe there was a way, she witnessed her own feelings, witnessed herself from outside herself, she might see the key. She might use the key to put in the door. She might unlock the door and she might look outside and see what's out there. She might not, but she might. The fact this came out in reverse suggests that that is what she does. Suggests to me that she takes a peek what's behind this door and opens the potential and the possibility of the wind changing. Oh, it's a deck upside down. Ace of Swords in reverse. I honestly need some water. Eight of Swords. So this is the knowledge, the thinking mind, the... Oh, okay, it is in reverse. So the knowledge, the thinking mind, the logic. You'll see you've got all these formulas and maths and stuff. It feels to me like because it was in reverse, this is encouraging a stepping away from the normal way of thinking. For some reason, this is the stepping away from the conventions of the mind, releasing the need for formulaic living and personal understanding, the formulaic way of being that keeps us in the cycle of behaviour. And that's generally not what this card generally means, but this is what I'm picking up right now, is that because it's in reverse, it's almost encouraging a different way of thinking. And that's a new beginning as well. And so is, I wanted to say the high priest, the high priestess, but that's a new beginning, a new way of thinking. It's almost like the Fool card leaping in without thinking, but it's leaping into a new way of thinking. It's leaping in, it's giving yourself the opportunity to think outside a box, a box that you might find comfortable and unknown, and you understand how the box works, and it could be very scientific, it could be very logical. But in that way of thinking, we can do two things. We can explain what is around us in terms that we understand, which is great. But we're also limiting everything around us to the terms that we have assigned it, and therefore we aren't able to see them in a different light. So if we want the winds to change, if we want change, we need to think of a way of seeing things differently. Change the way we think. Well, the cards won't answer now. And what happens when we change the way we think, when the winds change, when we take back our power, but share with people how to find their inner power and change the way we think, and change and be brave and take a peek behind the door. And what happens? We come into a bond, a relationship with ourselves and the people around us, and the connection with all things in more harmony, in more alignment. And we can trust the universe because we are the universe. Okay. I don't think I'm not gonna. That's it. Great one. I'm not gonna go on anymore. That is everything. I think. I don't think there is anything else. Okay. Maybe these cards. Oh, one flew out. Reflection. Okay, that's the last card. Oh, blimey. Oh, dear. Let's drop something. Reflection, contemplation, replication, expression. Yes, changing the wind. We have habits, we have ways of thinking, we have fixed ways of thinking. We have the way of thinking that we are very used to, that we're comfortable with, that we are aligned to, because that's the way we've been programmed throughout childhood, and anything that's happened in our lives has programmed us to think in a certain way so that we can function. Okay. And we very much are very comfortable with that, because that's the way we are, that's the way we think, that's the way we act, that's the way we feel about things. Those are the go-to emotions, that's our default setting. But when the wind changes, the default setting gets knocked, because all of a sudden it's like, hang on a second, you're stepping out of what you would normally do here, or you're moving into a different way of thinking. And the default setting isn't very comfortable with that. It's not very comfortable with that at all. And it constantly wants to pull us back, because we've repeated that behaviour so much. It's embedded into the pattern of who we are. But if we want to sustain a new way of being, we first have to realise what that new way of being is. But then we have to reflect it, we have to repeat it, we have to replicate it. It needs to be expressed. It needs to be ruminated, echoed, mirrored. It has to be something that we repeat, so that we embed this new behaviour. And then eventually that way of thinking becomes a default setting. And we might So that's integration, right? That's simple, very simple way of describing integration. And then we might at some point want to change our way again. And then we would do the same thing. We would have to reflect, repeat, ruminate, replicate, echo, reflect, mirror. We have to do all of that again and again and again so that we embed new ways of being. Embedding is important. So just having the winds change doesn't mean that they're going to permanently stay in that direction, because they can change back. They can change in new directions. So if this is a new direction, and if this is a place where you want to be, and you don't want to end up giving your power away again, you don't want to give up. You don't want, you don't want to give up that way of being. You don't want to give up that direction of the wind, or that new belief system, or that way of thinking, or that possibility of self. You need to find a way to embed it into who you are all the time, and it needs to become who you are. If it becomes who you are, that's who you will be. If it becomes who you are only in certain circumstances, when the wind is going in the right direction, and when the wind changes, you ping back to who you used to be, then it will become a battle between which one is stronger. And the one that is stronger will be the one that has been embedded the deepest. So that will be the one where you've given your power away and you get stuck in a situation. Because that's where you've come from. If you want to go to where you want to go, to a future, integration, reflection, deliberation, deliberate action, mirroring, reflecting, embedding, replicating a new way of being is required repetitively, regardless of the direction the wind is going in, regardless of that. Okay, I think that is everything for group 1. So I'm going to move into group 2. I'm going to pop these cards back into the deck. So sorry, very abrupt ending there, group 1. If you are still here, I think that's the message. And I think when we think about the direction that we are going in, and when the wind changes, I think I'll just be asked to remind you that it's not always possible to control the direction of the wind or the direction it takes you in. But what you can control is the way you react to it, the way you see the opportunity in it, and the way you move forward in a clear understanding of abundance and personal growth. Because it's not always easy. But then nothing ever is it? Anyway, group 1. That's you done. I'm going to go into group 2. So, group 2, we are on Mending. Now, this is a sweet little card, isn't it? I don't know if you can see that very well. 2 fairies sitting on stools, talking and fixing some bunting. See that? I want to change the lighting a little bit for this one. There you go. Better. Mending. What are we mending? Bridges. Are we mending bridges? That's what sprung to mind. Are we needing to mend a bridge? Sorry, I'm drinking water. We're going through a little mini heat wave again. Not as bad as France, thank goodness. I mean, horrible for France, obviously. Mending bridges. That's all I'm getting from that card. Mending bridges. Okay, so let's move on. Make sure that's fine. So, what is this all about then? What's the message here for group 2? Mending bridges. What bridges have been broken? Relationships? Are there relationships you want to mend bridges for? Oh, okay. I'm being told to go to different. I'm told to do these ones first. Okie dokie then. Let's do that. Chat amongst yourself. Oh. Explore. Was that upside down in the... Okay. Explore. Delve into, research and probe were the words that popped out on that card for me. Mending bridges. Explore. So, have we got bridges that are broken, which means that we cannot currently explore over the bridge because we can't get to the other side? Is that what this is about? We need to mend the bridge so that we can go explore territory that we've been previously cut off from. Explore territory that we've been cut off from, that we have not been able to access. Integration, synthesis, union, incorporation, amalgamation, combination, and then interminable, boundless, limitless, eternal. So, by mending a bridge, we allow ourselves access to explore new territory that was in union with us the whole time, we just couldn't access it for some reason. And that by accessing it, we become, or we go into, we become available to boundless, limitless, perpetual, eternal existence. So this bridge sounds like it's pretty epic. Oh, sorry. I was not expecting that. Bigotry. Is that the bridge? Narrow-mindedness, bias. Narrow-mindedness and bias. Narrow-mindedness and bias. So that's the break in the bridge. Is that the break in the bridge? That is the break in the bridge because it's preventing this connection to deeper understanding because it's in the way. It's basically stopping any kind of thought process beyond current belief systems, and those belief systems are quite narrow-minded. So therefore, because they're narrow-minded, they are limiting the options. By getting clarity on the things that are stifling your true self, that have broken the bridge, by seeing them clearly and understanding the impact they're having on your ability to move forward in a bigger, wider space that allows you to explore more, But at the moment, you're not able to explore more because your mind's narrowed down to a specific point. You need clarity, you need lucidity, you need to have some form of awareness of that fact so that you can see it properly and so you can address it, which will mend the bridge. That will mend the bridge. If you want to mend the bridge and become able to explore in union with your higher self and therefore become limitless and boundless and not narrowed down to whatever it is that's going on right now. And bear in mind, this narrowness could be a narrowness in spirituality as well as in some form of bigotry. So they're not the same thing, but that bigotry is the extreme side of things. But you can be a narrow-minded spiritual person as well. You can be a narrow-minded as in you've learned that to be a spiritual being or a spiritual person, you have to believe this, you have to do that, you have to follow these rituals, you have to have your abundance mantras, you have to do that, you have to do your specific yoga otherwise, and you have to get your kundalini to rise. You just, all these things sound broad-minded, but they are limiting in that they come from someone else, for one thing, and for two things, or the second thing, as most normal people would say, they still aren't everything you need to know to be a proper, true spiritual individual. They are just some steps that have worked for some people to get to a point where they have felt that they have been more connected to source, to everything, to the universe. And that what might work for them won't necessarily work for everybody else, for one. And there has to be this thing about finding your own path over the bridge, which actually isn't broken. It's your ability to see that the bridge is intact that is broken. It's your ability to actually understand and conceptualize your own ability to cross that bridge, because at the moment your own ability is narrowed down to a few concepts that somebody's trying to teach you, that you have tried to grasp and do, but that haven't really produced what you had hoped they would produce. It's like trying to be abundant by following all the rules that someone like Abraham Hicks lays out. They are amazing rules. Her teachings make a lot of sense. But how frustrating is it, and I have been there, how frustrating is it when you follow the rules and nothing happens? And nothing happens because you're not in alignment with yourself at that point. You're trying to align to somebody else's way of doing things. You're trying to align to something that's outside of your own personal grasp and concept of what it is you need to do. Now, if you came to a realization by yourself that to achieve abundance, you need to do this, this, and this, and this, and you've worked that out for yourself, and because you've worked it out for yourself, it speaks to your heart, it speaks to your body, it speaks to your being, it speaks to your emotions, it speaks to everything about you. And as soon as something speaks to everything about you, because it's come from you, not from somebody else, it's come from you, your understanding, you've pieced it all together. You've taken teachings from there. You've had realizations. You've done work with those realizations. And every time you've taken a bit of it and it's spoken to you, and then eventually something clicks and you're like, oh, I understand. I get it. And I not only get it, I feel it. I am it. I will be it. That's the point. That's the clarity. That's the point. You've stepped away from this narrow-mindedness that other people have tried. No, I'm not going to say other people try to impart on you, because they're not trying to impart narrow-mindedness. They're trying to impart what they know. They're trying to impart their knowledge and their experience. And you've tried to take it, as I have, as everybody does. And we've tried to take it and tried to understand it. We've tried to make it work. But it won't work until we make it our own. That's the mending of the bridge. Okay, very strong message there. Very clear, very, I quite like it. Thank you very much. And that was lovely, actually. Anything to come out in the tarot for group number 2? Otherwise, they're getting a very, very short reading compared to group number 1. I mean, okay, they do seem to have blended into each other. So maybe people that are in group 1 are still here, would be resonating with this message, and nothing is coming out, because that is the message. Okay. I'm just going to use these cards. Oh my goodness. Okay. Seriously. Spiral. This is the spiral of experience. This is the spiral of being. This is the spiral of understanding. This is the spiral of growth. And as I've shared in other videos for 0 Point Consciousness, the spiral is growth. It is circling, but it also radiates outwards. And every time we grow, it grows, and the arm moves out a bit more. So the spiral gets bigger. Openness. You can achieve this by being open, by... Okay, I admit I hadn't gone into that part of it. I just said you need to find your own way. So I do apologise. The next part of this message is about the journey you take to actually find your own way, because it's not as simple as going off and being like, oh, I found my own direction. That's great. Thank you very much. At least it can be for some people, I'm sure. But you okay, I'm struggling to you recognize that the journey itself is a spiral. It's a pattern of growth. Sometimes we circle around a little bit because the growth is small. Other times the growth is bigger, so then we grow outwards. The spiral becomes bigger, and as the spiral becomes bigger and the arm moves out a bit from the previous experience, the previous person that we were, the spiral moves out. And that is the growth process. Now we get to the growth process of clarity, so we can get to this open, boundless space of limitlessness under our own terms, by being open and not shutting ourselves off by narrow-minded thinking, by very specific thinking. And narrow-minded thinking is just very specific, indoctrinated, formulaic thinking about stuff that has been imparted by somebody else. So you can take that thinking, because you've got to start from somewhere. You take the thinking from other people and their understandings of things and then their formulas, if that's what you want to do. You take it away and then you break it apart and you practice it. You see what doesn't work for you, what does work for you. You can. There's all sorts of different ways of doing it. You have to make the journey your own. And I wouldn't want to tell you what the formula is, because there isn't one. The only formula there is that you are the experiencer, and you need to come to your own understanding under your own terms, in whatever way that looks like for you. And you can do that by being open to the possibility of a different way of thinking, a different way of doing, a different way of finding things out, a different way of experiencing, a different set of emotions, a different understanding of self, a different ability to know who you are. You can be open to changing who you are. Are you open to changing who you are? Do you know who you are? Next card is revolution. This is the revolution. This is the revolution. Do you know who you are? Do you know where you've become narrow-minded? Do you know how that affects you and how that stops you from being limitless? The revolution is in being the seeker of growth, openness, clarity, integration, exploration. It's being the person that wants to explore, that wants to see the things you haven't seen before, wants to witness it, wants to be a part of it, wants to understand it, wants to be it. And why do you want that? That is where you come from. That is who you are, potentially. Revolution twice. Revolution. What? Revolution, guys. And then, good. Oh my. Wow. Self as the final card. Because you are the most important person in your life. I mean, if you've got kids, then they're the most important people as well. But if you're not around, your kids won't have you. So you are the most important person in your life. You are your guide. You are your internal guide. Everything you need to know, everything you need to open yourself up is in you. It's there. The knowledge is there. You know what you're narrow-minded about. You know why you're narrow-minded about it. You know what you're holding on to. You know what you find hard to let go of. You know those times when you encounter something difficult and it makes you feel a certain way. That is you telling you, a bit uncomfortable, I don't know, not liking this, and then that's your opportunity to go, how come? Why? Why is that? Because this seems normal, but I'm reacting badly. I'm reacting in this certain way. I'm getting stressed by the situation. I'm getting frustrated. These emotions are coming up and I wasn't expecting that. Or, maybe I was expecting that, but in the past I've dealt with it like this. But is that really the best way of dealing with it? Is that the best way of dealing with it? I mean, did it work last time? And this is where you become the witness. This is where you become the third point part. I want to say third point perspective. Third point perspective. I guess it is, isn't it? Because that's like 0 point consciousness. That's the third perspective. It's the perspective of, hang on, why is that my default setting? Why is that who I am? Is that who I am? Is that truly who I am? Is that truly who I want to be? Do I know who I am? Do I know who I want to be? Am I scared of who I want to be? Do I think who I want to be is realistic? Am I comfortable where I am, even though it's difficult? Am I willing to explore outside the boundaries of my being? Am I willing to mend this bridge in me? Am I willing to actually confront the narrow-mindedness? And am I willing to actually think about breaking that down into component parts so that they can be scattered, leaving the way free for me to become a limitless, boundless being who has the experiences that fulfill my soul? Is that what I want for myself, or do I want to stay where I am? Because you've got the choice. Everyone has the choice. This is very connected to reading one, I have to say. Changing the winds. Anyway, I don't think... Was there anything else? we're going to do a tarot. Okay, I'll shuffle 3 times, and if nothing comes out, then we'll end the reading there. So that's 1. Oh, that one tried to come out. Let's do that. Oh, 10 of Wands. Coming to the end of an arduous journey. Yeah, it does feel like that, actually. It feels like... I don't know, that it feels like the maintenance of keeping up who you are, the things you're trying to do with the narrow-minded thinking to get there isn't a great experience. Actually, it's a burden. It's like I was going to say donkey. That's not a donkey. That's some sort of cow with an overloaded back carrying all this woman's shit. And quite frankly, I wouldn't want to be that cow right now. I wouldn't want to be that person. But they're coming to the end of their journey. They're coming to the end of that journey because she's going to take her shit off his back. And he's going to be able to go and stand in the field for a bit and munch some grass and relax because he's been on a very, very, very long journey. And she's made him walk there with her crap on his back. She hasn't wanted to let her crap go because her crap's important to her. So she had to take it with her on this journey. So this poor cow bison type thing had to carry it for her on a very, very long journey. Poor thing. It's forced to. Are you forcing yourself to? Do you want to carry on that journey? Do you want to carry on being this work bison, work cow? Or do you want to say to this woman, oi, carry your own bloody bags. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to look at the horizon for a bit and look at the clouds and contemplate the grass, and I'm going to be doing my own thing because that's my path. And maybe I've got the wrong thing from that card, but personally, that's what I'm picking up from it. So, group 2, that's your reading. I'm going to pop these cards away. Again, another abrupt ending. Not very good with the endings, am I? That is, the analogy of the work bison, which is a new one, is, you've got to be open-minded about these things. You've got to be open to the possibility that there's a donkey or a cow out there who really is quite fed up with their existence because they're carrying loads of crap on their back. It's not their crap. It's not their crap. It's this human's crap. And this human has quite thoughtlessly put this crap on my back, and now I have to carry it. And they're going to make me walk a really long way with this crap on my back because they don't want to carry it themselves, because they're not strong enough. Now, it's a bit of a compliment. You are strong enough. Do you want to carry on that way? It's entirely up to you. Because at some point, those bags are going to become too heavy. And at that point, you won't have a choice. And at that point, they may break your legs. And that's not a pleasant experience. And you don't have to get there. And generally speaking, people do end up there because they don't like change. They don't want to change. They don't want to move on to the next thing. Well, they say they do, but they don't want to actually do the things that require the change. They don't want to be a new person. They want to be the same person but having this new experience. That's not the way it works. You've got to be a different person. You've got to have had a point of either experience or choice where you have become altered, different to who you were whilst you were in that previous life experience. Because when you are a certain way that is the way you will present as. So if you think about someone who is very fixed in their ways, they present as a person that's very fixed in their ways. They have their ways of doing things. They lay their pens out. They have to have everything set in a certain way on their desk at work. Now that person isn't going to one day come in and just be like, actually, you know what? Everything's going to be different. I'm going to mess my desk up, and then I'm going to be a completely different person. I'm going to be very chill, very relaxed, and blah blah blah. Generally speaking, that person has had to have gone through a major change for them to then be able to sit there with a messy desk. And they can sit there for a little while pretending that they're okay with a messy desk if they're trying to make the change happen. Like, I mean, right, I'm going to be determined today. I'm going to be different. I'm going to have my pens on the different side of my desk. Slow changes. I'm going to, like tomorrow, I'm going to put 3 pens over there and then 2 pens there, and then the next day it's a slow growth. It's a change. You have to change. You can't be the same person. You can't be the same person that requires everything to be just so. You can't be that person if you want to become the free, loving, free thinking, messy person that you think you want to be. You can't be both. You can try. I've tried recently to be 2 different things, and believe me, it doesn't work because you become stressed. You become aware of your incongruence. You become aware of the fact that you're wearing a mask. You become aware of the fact that you are a very tidy person trying to be a really messy person because you think that's a better way of being, because you see other people that are messy having more fun than you. You want to have more fun, so you think you need to be messy. So therefore you have to ignore your desire for complete neatness and tidiness and conform with something you're not comfortable with. But then it becomes, you can't now enjoy that because it's stressing you out so much that your area is so messy. You are stressed because you cannot relax because your area is messy. I don't know if it makes any sense. Anyway, I'm going to go into group 3 and just see what comes out there, because these seem to be leading one into the other. Imagine all the people. Oh, I've just noticed. Hey, look, I didn't see that before. Look, there's a woman, and she's actually holding the balloon of the moon. I did not see her before. I just saw the moon and the clouds. I was like, oh, that's nice. But then I'm seeing her, and she's standing in water, but clouds, could be just clouds, and she's holding the balloon of the moon. Can't see that. I'm not holding these cards very well. Your imagination is absolutely key to your ability to move into a perspective of newness and flourishing and enjoyment and just plain simply congruent. What? Sorry, the words just won't come out. You need your imagination. This is so linked. So these 3 cards, they came out for me in a reading a couple of days ago, and they spoke to me so much. And they're speaking to me again because your imagination is really important to your ability to move away from, move out of, and see that there is another way of being, another possibility, another option. There are imaginative, beautiful, fantastical things that we could all be believing in, that we could all love, that we could all cherish, that we could all just fantasize about. And every single one of those would be a moment of growth, because our imagination would be growing and we'd be allowing ourselves to change the fundamental way we think. And the fundamental way we think tends to be, as I've said in the last reading, formulaic. It tends to be patterned. It tends to fit into a formula that tells us and gives us the certainty that life will work out within these patterns. That if I do this, this is what I've always done. The odds are good, therefore, that this will be the outcome, because that was the outcome before. And because this is a reliable behaviour and this is a fairly reliable outcome that I'm expecting, the odds are pretty good that that's the way things are going to turn out. So our imagination tends to then fall into this similar formula. And some people don't have imaginations. They don't like reading books. They don't watch films. They don't think about imaginative stuff because they don't see the point. And I know people like that. And we've got other people that are super imaginative, that love exploring the realm of Asgard and the Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and just the world of imagination. And the imagination isn't just fantasy, it's horror, it's science fiction, it's just basic fiction, it's romance novels, it's anything that's made up. And that all that gives you a perspective that just tweaks the imagination, that pulls apart the standard way of thinking and goes, hey, look, this is kind of cool. This is new. This is something you've never even contemplated before. These are things that if these people are in this situation, this is what possibly could happen. This is exciting, and it draws you down, and you get into the story, and it's brilliant. It's thrilling. It's different. It's not normal. It's not ordinary. It's not average. It's not everyday. And the imagination is what enables everybody, if they choose to use it, is the one thing that really enables people to think outside the box. If you are within the box, quite steadfastly in the box, your world is the contents of the box. The pattern inside the box is reliable. The odds are good for this pattern to work out fairly well most of the time. So you're going to stick with that. It's very comfortable. Boom, 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 boom. The imagination allows you to think, what's outside the box? What if? What would happen if this fantastical creature existed? And then all these things happen. And then that was, blah, 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 blah. The box goes, blah, 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 blah. It grows. It expands. Even if it's only in the imagination, it's expanded outwards. But the imagination is what enables us to think outside the box, see the potential of what could be outside the box, and then give us the possibility of maybe exploring something outside the box. And that's growth. That's change. Imagination is the stimulation for change. It's the ability, imagination is the bridge over the box, through the box, out of the box. And it allows us to pull in the knowledge, the understanding of personal self, because if we didn't have an imagination, we wouldn't even contemplate that there is a higher self, that there is spiritual beings, that we are spiritual beings living a human experience, that there is life after death, that there is life before death, that fairies and demons and angels and dragons are all in the art of the possible. And wouldn't it be sad? Wouldn't that be sad? But being open to all of that, being open, using the imagination for all of that, makes all of that possible. I can't remember the exact saying, but wasn't there something about if it can be anything that can be thought is real, or something along those lines? I don't think that's the actual saying. I don't even know who said it. Anything that can be dreamed exists, comes into existence as soon as it's thought of, because the imagination is the creator of the possibilities being drawn out of the potential that is the void. And the void is dichotomy, contrast. The void is dichotomy. The void is contrast. The void is everything and nothing. The void is the point of where potential comes from. It is the point of growth. Deception, that's a strange card to come out. Trickery. So this is a dichotomy, isn't it, of the void. Now people think about, God and right and wrong, good and bad, and all that stuff. But in actual fact, I mean, the void is the universe, is the underlying energy of all things, right? It is also the means that holds all the potential and all the possibility of all things ever existing all the time. It's a dichotomy in that respect. But it's a dichotomy in the fact that it's also, he doesn't do good and bad, right and wrong. He doesn't do that. He doesn't know it. He doesn't care about any of that. It just will give you whatever. Right and wrong, yeah, whatever. It's a duality thing. That's a you problem. That's a 3D issue. That's a human concept. We've made all that stuff up anyway. Those are words that we've created. Those are feelings we've created. Those are morals that we've created. I mean, I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm just saying the void doesn't give a shit. So things like deception, disharmony and trickery and distortions, they exist because all things exist. Growth exists, evolution exists, change exists. Flowers exist, trees exist. Mother Teresa existed. People that do good for charity, people that are in harmony, that are honest and truthful, that are filled with joy and laughter and happiness, they exist. But so are all the experiences of deception, of fraud, of cheating, of shame. All of that also exists. And we can experience both of them because we are made of the void. We are the potential in the void. Our imagination allows for that as well. I just saw a card the wrong way around. Okay. One more shuffle. And I'm going to go to tarot. Yeah, okay. I'm just asking, is there anything else I need to say about these cards and why they came out? See, that's supposed to say shame right there. It says sham. it's all a sham. It's all a deception. A sham is a deception, right? Maybe it's supposed to say sham, not shame. Fraudulent. So, okay. Is that another perspective? That's another perspective of imagination. It's not real. It's made up. It's deceptive. The imagination allows for deception. It allows for creative lying. It allows for people to make shit up. It does. It does allow for that. You're right. It really does allow for that. And is that why some people may turn away from using the imagination? Because anything that's made up isn't real, and therefore it's a deception, and they don't want to be deceptive. So therefore, they're very focused on being truthful, and being truthful means not using the imagination, or trying not to. I mean, actually reading books and stuff is a very innocent way of using the imagination, but that's somebody else's writing. That's somebody else using their imagination, and all we're doing is imparting in that experience of reading that information and taking in the story and living it in our own way in our heads as we're reading it or whatever. So that's a different use of imagination. That's somebody we're using somebody else's imagination to create the experience of something different in our own lives. But if we all wrote our own stories, we would genuinely be using our own imagination. If we were lying, we would be using our imagination, I guess. Oh. Interesting. 7 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles. Judgment. And Justice. Interesting. So the first two is all about growth, harvesting, having a good harvest at the end of a growth period. Nurturing, looking after, tending to, not tendering, tending to the thing you're trying to grow, giving it energy. And then when it comes to harvest, we have an abundance in that harvest. We are happily picking the harvest of the thing that we have grown. Achievement comes to the end of the journey. And then we have judgment and justice. Judgment is this card. She's using her imagination because she's dreaming of, I think, being a dancer. I mean, that might not be what that is all about, but that looks like a dancer to me. So this is the judgment that what she has right now doesn't match who she wants to be. But she's using her imagination to really feel the emotions around and be the embodiment of who she wants to be, because that's who she's judged she wants to be, and she's using her imagination to get there. But then justice is weighing up the options, is weighing it up and saying, hang on, is this really viable? Is this really an option? Is this realistic? Are you actually going to be able to do this? I mean, really? Aren't you more comfortable where you are? Are you more comfortable doing what you're doing right now? It's safe. We got here. It took a really long time to get to this point. Do you really want to change? Do you really, 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 really want to put the work in now to do something different? Let's just put your imagination to bed. Just there, just for a moment. Just let's put that to one side. Let's just figure this out, and then we'll come back to it once we've put some real thought into it, and then and then and then when we get to that point of coming back to it and thinking about it and properly, digging deep and wondering whether or not that is something that you can really do. I mean, if you really think about it, is that something that you can do? Is it really something that you can do? Is it what you want to do? Do you want to do it? Let's just put that to one side just for now. And then, therefore, what's happening is you end up lying to yourself. You end up taking on a persona that is not yours, that's not true to who you want to be and who you feel like you should be and could be, because you put it to one side and you do forget about it. You will forget about it. You will put that to one side. You won't come back to it for a little while. And all the while you're reflecting somebody that isn't actually you anymore. And no matter how much you look in the mirror, the person that looks back to you doesn't feel true, because you haven't followed your imagination, you haven't followed your heart. You haven't sown the seed, and you haven't given it the time to grow, and you haven't nurtured it, and you haven't tended to it, and you haven't given it that opportunity, so there is no harvest. Do you allow justice to tell you that using your imagination is a bad thing and that you can't achieve what you want to achieve? Are you going to allow justice to do that? Are you going to allow it to weigh things up on your behalf and tell you this is possible, that's not possible, and therefore let's just stay in what is possible because it's comfortable, it's safe? That's the shadow. That's fully the shadow. So you miss out on this bountiful harvest. You miss out on your dream. Is there anything else for group 3? Anything else for group 3? Oh, 2 more cards. Okay. Death and rebirth. Come on. Come on. Yep. Death and rebirth. Transformation, change. Allowing something to die. Allowing something to pass over. Allowing something to move on. And for a opportunity for rebirth, for a new beginning to come in. And for that to be possibly a challenging experience, but also possibly a very positive long-term experience where you are able to fulfill your dream, where you give it the time to nurture it. Bountiful harvest because you've used your imagination. This is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to properly see this, to properly witness where you have the word came in, fooled yourself into staying in a cycle of safety and where your imagination isn't utilised in any way, shape or form, because it's safer just to carry on the way things are. It's your opportunity. Was not expecting Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups. I'm so thrown by Knight of Cups. I'm going to read it from the book because I don't know what that's telling me. I mean, obviously, it looks fairly romantic. He's got some flowers there. He's being all kind of like, hey, I got my horse. We've got a picnic. Do you want to go out tonight? So it says, oh, classic romance. A passionate soul, artistic tendencies, creativity, wearing your heart on your sleeve, seeking connection, being in love with the idea of love and chivalry. So, creativity, wearing your heart on your sleeve, being open and honest, right? being genuinely, authentically who you are, even if that is a cheesy, chivalrous, passionate soul who likes to woo their partner with flowers and a picnic on a white horse. I mean, who wouldn't like that, right? Maybe this is the new beginning you're looking for. Maybe this is who you want to be. Maybe this is the dream. This is the romance. This is the fantasy. This is the imagination. And it's possible, right? This is the new beginning. This is our opportunity to step into new uses, right? We can use our imagination to get there. I've got an itch on the back of my brain which should tell me something more. There is something more. Something about being realistic. Can you be a bit more, can you be clearer on that? What they need to be more realistic about, because you're telling them to use their imagination. Limitless imagination. Limitless possibility. Reality is a human concept that we are so embedded in and so comfortable in that actually sometimes finding a way to act beyond that programming can be difficult, because we have the concept of what is and is not realistic. We also have the concept of what has and has not worked in the past. And we also have the disappointment, the memories of failures, memories of times when we have tried and nothing came from it. And these times are the reasons why, generally speaking, we avoid going back there. And we avoid it because it's safer not to put ourselves into that situation, into that zone of potential humiliation or disappointment or whatever else we experience at that point. It could even be shame, hurt. It puts us into a fever dream of longing and hopefulness and unreality that can stimulate a sense of desperation that isn't healthy, because the desperation becomes the dominant need, the dominant desire, the dominant thought, the desperation for it to happen, the desperation for there to be this thing that we are looking for, the desperation for that because we don't have it now. We want it, we don't have it. And the fact that we don't have it, and we want it so, so, so badly, is where the imagination becomes weaponized. It becomes weaponized because it starts to toy with our emotions, our self-belief, the belief in the thing that we have always believed in, or the thing that we found comfort in. That starts to dissipate because of the distortions of the imagination that tell us that what we are doing isn't good enough, that we are not good enough, and that we are not actually worthy of achieving the things that we've seen other people achieve through these very same practices. And therefore, imagination can become toxic. It can actually become toxic because it becomes a steer around this distorted view of not being able to achieve what we want to achieve, not being able to have what we want to have, even though we want it so, so badly. And we've tried everything. We've tried manifestation rituals and all the mantras and all that stuff, and nothing's come of it. And we're doing something and we're not good enough or something. And the imagination starts to feed into it. And that's where it grows. And it becomes the stopper. Yeah, okay, so the imagination can become a distorted deception that we need to be aware of. We need to be aware of it because it can stop our growth if we allow it to get into our heads to such a degree that what we're imagining, even though it may not be physically true in the real world, what we're imagining damages our ability to function. And therefore we become more and more enclosed in a box of safety because the box is safer, it's more familiar, and we can shove everything else to one side and we can say, no, okay, I need to cope right now. The only way I can cope right now is if I am in this safe space. And then we shut ourselves off. So the imagination can be a good thing if it's nurtured correctly, if it's allowed to imagine, if it's allowed to grow, and if it's not put into I want to say too specific stream. Okay, if it's not put into streams of thought that are so specific, like wanting to manifest something very specific, like a red Porsche next Tuesday or £1 million a week on Wednesday from this thing. It's too specific, and as much as we want it, we won't get it because we're doing 3 things at once. We're thinking about what we don't have. We're desperately wanting something very specific and therefore narrowing down the field of possibility to a point of almost infinitesimal impossibility. And we're telling ourselves if we don't do the thing, if we don't get the thing, that we're not good enough. If we don't do those things, if we allow the imagination to freeform, if we allow the imagination to help us imagine ourselves in an abundant state where things come to us easily and we can imagine ourselves just receiving things and just being happy and just, I don't know, just being that person that attracts things. Just imagining that, just imagining it. And genuinely what happens is you're not allowing your imagination to say, if you don't achieve these things, then you're not good enough. You're just allowing your imagination to give you an idea of what it might be like if you could fly on a dragon. It's allowing you to imagine what it's like if you could drive a Porsche. It's imagining what it would be like to be able to give some money to your family because of blah, blah, blah. Or it's imagining what it's like to just every now and then receive some money. It's imagining what it's like. And it's, it's not putting any kind of specific nature on it. It's not putting any kind of specific stance on it. It's not saying this is exactly what needs to happen. It's not distorting anything. It's just using the imagination and then letting it go. It's not constantly thinking about that very same imaginative thought. It's just thinking, that would be nice. That would be lovely. That will be nice. That will be lovely. And that's mine. That's who I am. That's who I'm becoming. I know that's who I'm becoming. That's who I'm becoming because I know that's who I'm becoming. Then my imagination's allowing me to see that it's possible for me to be that person, and that's who I'm becoming. I am becoming that person. That's who I'm becoming. That's who I am. That's who I'm going to be in 5 minutes' time. And in 5 minutes' time, that's who I am, and that's who I am right now. And that's really how it's going to be from now on, because that's who I am, and that's your imagination's allowed you to get there. No more cards. But if your imagination is allowed to run free and run wild and become insular and attacky, if it starts becoming a voice that says you're not good enough, it's become distorted. It's something to be aware of. It's something to look at as a third party. It's something to observe. And then through the observation, use that as an opportunity to ask the questions, why am I like this? Why am I so desperate? Why am I actually doing this to myself? Is it worth it? Is it true? Is it actually what's happening? Or am I just stopping it from happening because I want it so badly? There's so many different ways of looking at it. Anyway, is there a closing message for group 3? I'm not satisfied with the ending of that. I am not satisfied with the ending of group 3. Is there anything else that we could add to help? Anything at all? Okay, well, the message is that basically if you're in a state where you have got to this point of distortion, then the only thing you can do at that point is figure it out. And that out is to look at it, to see it without objectivity, be subjective, see it impartially, see it for what it is, decide it's not with you, and become aware of who you are and who you want to be without those things. Decide who you are and who you can be right now in this moment, and allow that person to just be for a moment. Allow that person to accept themselves just for a moment. Allow the person that you are, that you have been, that you are right now, that you will be in the near future, to exist, to be accepted. Because that isn't a bad person. Okay, they don't have a Porsche, don't have £1 million, but that's okay because you're still alive. You still have what you have, you still have what you do, you still have who you are. You still have the opportunity to do anything you want to in your life. The opportunity is still there. You just need to allow it to sit in you, to be with you, to be who you are. You are the conduit of possibility. You are the conduit of potential. If you've got into the mind, a state of mind where everything's become distorted, your imagination has become distorted, and you are in this space of unfairness and you feel let down or whatever, pull back. Witness yourself for who you are. You're a human being who is loved, who is seen, who is more than whatever situation they're in right now. And allow yourself to be that person, because that is the person that can change and that can grow and that can be anything. But you need to accept and allow yourself to be who you are first and foremost, so that you can start recognizing opportunities and points of potential growth without beating yourself up in the process. It feels like there's more work to do there. It feels like this is a whole reading on its own, right? Okay, so group 3. This is I'll do another reading to cover this topic, because it feels like right now, it feels like this specific topic needs more time, and we'll give it that. Okay, thank you very much. Right, that's it. Group 3. Thank you for watching, and I will follow up shortly with another video. So yeah, take care. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.